presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are Southwest.
It's a warm and beautiful evening here in Kansas City. Kauffman Stadium is the scene. The Rangers look to make it 2 in a row as they take on the Kansas City Royals. And welcome in, everyone. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Steve Busby. Delighted to have you along on this Tuesday night. Ranger baseball in store for you this evening, and it should be a dandy. And one of the things that the Rangers can really pin their hats on now, and ever since the calendar flipped over to August and now September, Josh Hamilton has started to heat things back up, and well, the Rangers love that.
They do, Buzz. And when he gets hot, generally what he's doing, he's not swinging at as many bad pitches. He's making the pitcher get it up. And one thing, as you well know, Buzz, you can throw him slow breaking balls out of the strike zone, but the more you throw, sooner or later you're going to make a mistake. And we're going to show you 3 of those mistakes right here. All 3 of these home runs, recent home runs, have been on pitches the pitcher was trying to throw down and in the dirt. But they can't do it every time. And when they miss like they did on those 3 pitches, that's where they end up, over the fence. No one in baseball has more home runs than Josh. Adam Dunn also has 38. No one has more RBIs than Josh. 114 is the most. He's on a great roll, having another terrific season, and a definite MVP candidate.
Yeah, and you look for reasons this Ranger offense has gotten hot. I think first and foremost, it's the middle of the order, and Josh Hamilton is certainly a prominent part of that middle lineup for the Texas Rangers. Tonight, the Rangers try to make it a couple in a row here at Kauffman Stadium. It'll be Matt Harrison looking for his 16th win of the year. The fans are on, maybe not out, but they are on here at Kauffman Stadium. We'll be back with Game 2 of this 4-game series right after this. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by the Built Ford Tough Truck event. Enjoy huge savings on America's best-selling truck for 35 years running. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. We'll be back to Kauffman Stadium in the city of Fountains, Kansas City, Missouri, right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.
It's your chance to chat with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Plenty of Ranger fans in the house. Ranger red and trimmed in blue all over the place here in Kansas City. Before we get things underway, let's send it out to John Radigan. John?
Yeah, Buzz, great to see all the Ranger fans here. I've had a chance to talk with many of them. You know, any Ranger who plays in this organization and is an infielder is fortunate because not only do they have Dave Anderson to coach them, but Ron Washington as well. His mantra is the hands follow the feet when it comes to infield, and he says Mitch Moreland has gone night and day from last year as far as his defensive ability.
He said your hands will be in the right place if your feet are, and just to keep them moving, don't get too stiff out there and get locked up. He said if anything, if you have problems with fielding ground balls or they eat you up, it's because your feet stops, and he's been big on that, and he's right. It's if you keep your feet moving, keep in a good position, then you're gonna feel the ground ball. So.
It's the Geico quote of the day from Mitch Moreland, and it's great to see Mitch advancing as much as he has, as quickly as he has. We've always known he's one of the best ninth-place hitters in the game, but now he's playing awfully good defense at first, too, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Yeah, good points, and boy, a lot of great instruction going on in that Ranger dugout also, and on the field, Mitch is really getting the job done over there at first base. A complete ball player, as Ron Washington likes to say, and he's becoming more complete every day. Now, Ron Washington's club coming in with a 4-game lead now. They picked up a game for the first time in 10 days on the Oakland Athletics. They are now 4 games ahead at 80-54. And here's the lineup that Ron Washington is putting out there tonight. Ian Kinsler leads off. He's the second baseman. Elvis Andrus is at short. Batting third, playing center field, Josh Hamilton. Adrian Beltre is at third. He bats cleanup. Hitting fifth, playing right field, and Nelson Cruz. Michael Young is the designated hitter, batting 6th. Hitting 7th, the left fielder, David Murphy. Giovanni Soto behind the plate, he hits 8th. And Mitch Moreland plays 1st and bats 9th.
And the scouting report for Jeremy Guthrie. He's 6-12 overall. 5.48 is his ERA in 27 games. Last 5 starts have gone much better. He's pitched much better since he's joined Kansas City than he did in Colorado. Left-hand hitters have hit him pretty well. Right-hand hitters around 280. He's at sometimes been untouchable. In fact, he had a 3-start stretch where he didn't give up an earned run in over 22 innings. He's also had 3 games where he's given up 17 runs in 13 innings. His last start was a solid start against the Tigers. He beat them 2-1, 7 1/3, 10 hits, and only 1 run in that game. But the start before it, he got knocked around a little bit. So I guess you're not exactly sure what you're going to get, but he's capable, Buzz, and he's done it several times of pitching a really good game for Kansas City.
Yeah, veteran with a good, lively fastball that has a great deal of sink to it. And the defense tonight for him will be at a premium. Basic defense tonight. Alex Gordon in left, Kane in center, and Jeff Francoeur in right field. Billy Butler gets to start at first. Giovatello in second. Escobar at short. Mike Moustakas the third baseman. Salvador Perez behind the plate. And Jeremy Guthrie will be pitching for the Kansas City Royals. Lance Barkdale is the home plate umpire. Fielding Culbreth at first. Adrian Johnson is second. The crew chief Gary Cedarstrom at third. And it's interesting to note that this is a different crew than worked yesterday's ball game. And they said before the ball game, Gary Cedarstrom did, there will be no warning issued prior to this ball game. So remember yesterday that Nelly Cruz hit by a Lewis Coleman pitch, and both benches emptied, and there will not be a carryover as far as a pregame warning. 0-1 the count to Ian Kinsler. Swings and pops up the next pitch. Foul territory, first base side. Billy Butler there. And Ian Kinsler, as he did yesterday, begins things by popping out for out number 1. 92-degree evening here in Kansas City. Not many clouds around. Maybe a few high wispy clouds overhead. A smallish crowd with the Labor Day weekend finished and everybody back to school here in the Kansas City area. Royals come in averaging just over 22,000 this year. One away, here's Elvis Andrus. Elvis steps in batting at .298 for the season. And Guthrie throws that sinking and tailing fastball in the inside corner for strike 1.
Yeah, Guthrie's capable of getting his fastball up into the low to mid 90s. And when he keeps it down, he makes it sink pretty well. Got a good assortment of pitches. He's inconsistent, but when he's on, he's very good.
0-1 pitch. That's low and outside.
Definitely seems to have been a good move for him to leave Colorado to come over to Kansas City. Jonathan Sanchez was struggling in Kansas City, and it's kind of a case of 2 teams trading struggling pitchers.
Elvis drives one to left field. Going back is Gordon, still going back at the wall. Goodbye. Elvis Andrus leaves the building. The Rangers lead 1-0.
Well, the Rangers hit 5 home runs yesterday, 4 home runs the day before, and here they go again. Elvis got a pitch to hit. Only his 3rd home run of the year. But he's feeling pretty good about it, giving it to Nelly Cruz. Whatever you call that. What do you call that, Buzz?
I'm not sure.
Pulling out the 6 shooters, maybe?
I guess. Well, the Rangers on top 1-0. And here is Josh Hamilton.
Looked like a hanging slider. A lot of the balls hit out of the ballpark yesterday were the same thing.
Well, Elvis with his 3rd home run of the year. 1-0 pitch to Josh, and that is outside and low. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Hamilton, as we talked about in our pregame, his 38th home run of the year last night, tied him with Adam Dunn for the major league lead in round tripper.
I think yesterday Buzz Elvis warmed up for the home run today. He hit a ball to right center field that Lorenzo Cain up against the wall made a highlight reel catch. And then later in the game to left center field, he drove one all the way to the warning track. So he came close a couple of times. He chose this time, though, to hit it to a little more shallow part of the ballpark, and he was able to sneak it right out of here.
Hamilton a rip and a miss. It is 2-2. Here's Josh Hamilton in yesterday's ball game against Bruce Chan, and that hanging breaking ball that Tom told you about, that went a long way. That was a 419-foot hanger. 2-2 pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Over to cut it off is Kane, and Hamilton ripping one to center field is aboard with a 1-out base hit.
Threw one fastball by Josh, a little bit higher than this one. That fastball didn't have a chance. The ball was lopsided after the center fielder threw that one in.
Probably a little mushy, too. Now Hamilton at first, one away. Here's Adrian Beltre. Adrian comes in hitting at .318, which is good for 5th in the American League. And he has been on fire, to say the least. A 4-game hitting streak coming in. Look at those numbers now. 28 home runs, 85 RBI. Not a lot of success against Guthrie in his career. Takes low and outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Guthrie, a 33-year-old, originally with the Cleveland Indians organization. Took him out of Stanford University. Went over to Baltimore, had a couple of very good years in the starting rotation for the Orioles, and then tried Colorado this year, and didn't have much success up there in the high altitude at Coors Field.
He had a good start a month ago against the Rangers here. Rangers won that game 5-3, but he pitched well in that game. Thrown 200 innings plus the last 3 years.
2-1 the count to Adrian. And the pitch just nips the inside corner. It's 2-2. How about the last week or 2 weeks of play for Adrian Beltre? 449 the average. 12 ball games. Next pitch is chopped foul, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, you get Beltre and Hamilton in the middle of that order hot, the way they are. And you throw Nelly Cruz in there, who has been a little streaky, but he has been predominantly warm. And you've got 3 guys in a row that can hurt you with base hits, with doubles, with home runs, and all of them very capable of driving in an awful lot of runs. It's pretty much a great trifecta for the Rangers. And Beltre swings and skies it to left field. Gordon coming on, peering up into the twilight of the evening, puts it away. There are 2 gone, and here comes Nelly Cruz. So Beltre skies out. Cruz comes in with a 3-game hitting streak. Gone 4 out of 10 over his last 3 ball games. Had the home run yesterday that apparently Lewis Coleman, among others in the Royal dugout, felt that he stood and admired a little too much at home plate. And next time up, Coleman plunked him. And you know, I hadn't really noticed it until I watched the replay of that home run and saw Nelly stand there, a little longer, I think, than he needed to. But that's not uncommon anymore.
No, exactly. You know, we probably look at that from slightly different views, Buzz. You being a pitcher and me being a hitter. But, you know, my opinion is you hit one that far, you get a few seconds to watch how far it goes. And it's not like he is the only one that's out there doing it. You know, pitcher can get a strikeout and pump his fist, get a save like Jose Valverde, and go through his routine.
That one's looped down the right field line. It will get on top of the tarpaulin.
The best solution for it is to make a better pitch and not let the guy take that kind of swing against you in the first place. But the best answer is the answer that the Rangers gave to it.
Yep.
Get a man on first. Michael Young hit a home run. You know, if that's a 2-run game, who knows how the last couple innings play out. They had men on base. They had little rallies going. Maybe it's a little different if it's a 2-run game instead of a 4-run game.
And Cruz, a swing and a miss, and the inning comes to a close. But Elvis Andrus, a 1-out solo home run in the first, The Rangers jump on top of Jeremy Guthrie and the Royals. We're going to the bottom of the first. The Rangers won. The Royals coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. And the Rangers jump on top in the top of the first inning. Now Kansas City coming to bat against Matt Harrison. And here's Ned Yost lineup that will face the Ranger left-hander tonight. Lorenzo Cain leads off. He's the center fielder. Alcides Escobar is back in the lineup, batting second, playing shortstop. Alex Gordon is in left field. The cleanup hitter is Billy Butler, who plays first. Batting fifth and catching, Salvador Perez. Jeff Francoeur, former Ranger, in right field, bats sixth. Mike Moustakas is the third baseman. Batting eighth and DHing tonight is Tony Abreu. Johnny Giovatello bats ninth and plays second base. And Matt Harrison's first pitch of the ball game is a knee-high strike.
Matt, 15-8 on the season, tied for third in the American League with those 15 wins. The .330 ERA is ninth in the league. He also has thrown 174 in the third innings. That's the ninth most innings pitched. On the road, he's 10-4 with a .305 ERA. And about a month ago, in that game that Jeremy Guthrie pitched, as a matter of fact, he beat the Royals 6 2/3, 8 hits and 2 runs.
That ball game was a 5-3 final. The Rangers winning that contest. Call strike three. Oh, he stood Lorenzo Cain up like a tree in the forest, and he's gone.
Well, this is making the pitch that you're trying to make. Try to drill the inside corner with that fastball, 93 miles an hour, and he got the call.
Well, Matt Harrison trying to rebound from that tough outing last time out against Tampa Bay. He just said, hey, it was one of those nights I couldn't do anything that I really wanted to and needed to.
Buzz, when he says he wants to get on top of the ball and go downhill, what exactly does that
mean? What happens with Matt Harrison and most guys is there's a chopper. Adrian Beltre up the ladder, pulls down the rebound, and fires on to first. There's one we haven't seen him make for a little while. But the springs and the shoes out there.
I like the style he plays it. Watch when he comes down, stops, looks, fires. No one makes it like that. Most people get their feet moving. He just jumps up, comes down, and throws it.
Came down on that board, was looking at the outlet pass, and he got it out there. So very quickly, 2 away for Alex Gordon. What happens with Matt Harrison, Tom, when he gets his body out in front of his arm a little bit, so his arm drags behind him, and you see his front shoulder, which for Matt is his right shoulder, kind of flare out toward third base early. That makes his arm angle drop down a little bit and gets his hand off to the side of the baseball. So what he's trying to do is stay lined up with his shoulders toward home plate. Now that right shoulder wants to go down toward home plate and not out quite as much toward third base. And that allows you to get your hand up on top of the ball and drive it on a downhill plane toward home plate.
Very good. And that's what he's trying to do today.
Yeah. And Alex Gordon intercepted that fastball and drove it to right for a base hit. Well, a 2-out single puts Gordon aboard, and will bring up Billy Butler. But that for Matt Harrison really is the key of not letting that front shoulder fly out quite as early. It really affects not only his command, but his stuff. His stuff tends to flatten out a little bit when he gets that front shoulder going out. A 1-on, 2-out. Billy Butler, who has just torn apart Matt Harrison in the past to a tune of 667. He takes outside for ball 1. 8 for 12 is Butler with a home run and 3 driven in against Matt Harrison. He also brings in that 5-game hitting streak right in the middle of the Royals order. Here's a breaking ball that just hangs outside. 2 balls and no strikes. First one could have been. Second one a little bit off the plate. Harrison a check of first. The 2-0 pitch. Good changeup. 2-1. And that's what Matt Harrison has done so well, I think, Tom, this year, has been able to throw that changeup 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, and get guys to swing at it. So it must look pretty good coming out of his hand to a hitter.
Yeah, they're in a fastball count, and they're looking to get out in front of something and hit it hard. And they're anticipating a fastball. It looks just like a fastball. Well, it comes in 7 or 8 miles an hour less, and as Butler was right there, they're way out in front of it.
Butler, one of the best right-handed hitters in the American League. And 309, you saw the numbers. 25 home runs, 85 driven in. Fastball inside corner, and it's 2-2. Good pitch by Harrison. And Matt so far able to pretty much pinpoint that fastball when he's needed to. Left-hander ready, a check of first. And he will go that way with a toss to drive Gordon back. Royals have said they would like to get back to their running game. They've kind of gotten away from that. Part of it is they haven't had the right people on base. Slow chopper hit to short. Elvis will punt onto first, and that'll do it. So the 2-out single, no damage. No runs on 1 hit, 1 left. On to the second we go from Kauffman Stadium. Rangers 1, Royals nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, folks, each year thousands of kids can play baseball and learn to lead healthier lives through Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation programs. And you can help more kids by donating your time or your money. Visit TexasRangers.com/foundation right now to help the kids get more from the foundation. Help the foundation help more kids with your time and your money. Top of the second inning. Michael Young leading things off, takes a strike from Jeremy Guthrie. Michael Young with his 5th home run of the year yesterday, as Tom was talking about, a very big home run in that ball game. Gave the Rangers a 4-run lead at that time. Swinging strike 2. And Michael down in the count. Michael, a couple of multi-hit games on this road trip so far. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The AT&T Uverse reverse replay from yesterday. Here's that home run off Lewis Coleman. Michael Young driving it way out of here to left center field. And that was a big 2-run home run. Outside goes the next pitch from Guthrie, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, in the 8th inning against Mike Adams, Royals had some men on base. And against Joe Nathan, they had men on base too. And I'm not saying the game would have been different if it was a 2-run game, but I think the psychology of the hitter is a little bit different in a 2-run game than it is in a 4-run game, so you never know.
Well, it's certainly less comfortable. I can tell you from a pitcher standpoint.
Sure. You don't make the same pitches.
Yeah. Young, a shot toward the hole. Backhanded by Escobar in the dirt and dropped by Billy Butler at first base.
We've seen Escobar make that play 4 or 5 times this year against the Rangers. A good young shortstop, talented. It's been a little bit of a hitting slump. But every play that we've seen him have a chance to make, he's made until that one. Strong arm, just threw a little bit too low, and Butler couldn't scoop it.
Well, we'll see how that is ruled by the official scorer here at Kauffman Stadium.
We're still thinking about it.
In any event, 1 on, nobody out, and here's David Murphy. I guess if you would talk about hot hitters any more than Adrian Beltre, David Murphy would be at the top of that conversation. Michael Young is going to get credit for a base hit on that ball in the hole. So the official scorer felt that it would have taken more than normal major league effort to get Michael Young on that play. 0-1 the count to Murph. Wave and a miss as Guthrie pulled the string. It's 0-2. David Murphy coming into play tonight now 3rd in the American League in hitting with that .224 average. He just became eligible for those league statistics as of yesterday. Check swing on the pitch away. He is 3rd in average, He is third in on-base percentage at .401. And his .405 average with runners in scoring position is the best in the major leagues. Slowly hit ground ball, should be 2 as Escobar goes to the bag on to first. And the 6-3 double play erases Michael Young and David Murphy.
Good pitch by Guthrie. Got David out in front of it. Escobar took it by himself, and you can see as he got to the bag, he unloaded this throw. He's got a great arm.
The 2 gone. Here's Giovanni Soto. Guthrie's pitch a little bit low for ball 1. Soto, his 3rd home run in a Ranger uniform yesterday. A 3-run blast, and that was what opened the scoring for the Rangers. .233 his average overall in a Texas uniform. 15 RBI now. Pitch shot foul. And we'll take a look at his 3-run blast off Bruce Chen yesterday.
Hanging breaking ball.
He didn't slip many of those past Ranger hitters yesterday.
High off-speed pitches weren't getting it done yesterday.
2-1 the count. Soto now with more RBI in a Ranger uniform than he had the first half of the year with the Cubs. Soto only had 14 RBIs with the Chicago Ball Club before the trade on the 30th of July. That was in 52 games for Chicago. Tonight, he is playing in his 19th game with the Rangers. 3-1 pitch to him. And that is outside, ball 4. Soto coaxes a walk from Jeremy Guthrie. He's aboard. And here comes Mitch Moreland. First free pass issued by Guthrie tonight. And Mitch will step in. He went 1 for 1 yesterday. Didn't get the start against the left-hander Chen, but came on as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning and got an at bat in the 9th and got a base hit. That may not sound like much, but Mitch was in the throes of a pretty uncomfortable streak on the road. He had been 0 for 14 on this road trip. Outside, ball 1. But that single got him off the schneid for the trip, and he's back in there today with the start. Guthrie okays the sign from Perez. Moreland drives one to right center field. That is down, and it's going to go to the wall. Soto being waved around third. Kane up. The relay throw coming in from Escobar is not in time. It's cut off, and now they've got Moreland going to third. But the run scores. Mitch got a little bit greedy, but he was able to drive home the 2nd run for the Rangers. And the side retired. A run on 2 hits and nobody left. After 1.5, it's now the Rangers 2, the Royals nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, that last play might have registered on the Richter scale. He had a couple of big guys running the bases for the Rangers, and it did turn into a run.
Yeah, Mitch hit the ball to right center field. Kane was playing in left center field. Giovanni's going to come all the way around from first base, and the throw is cut off, and Mitch just kept running until they tagged him. But he got the double in the RBI. Soto scored before Mitch was tagged out at third base. Well hit ball by Mitch, and the 2-out walk by Guthrie came back to haunt him. If you're scoring at home, that's 8-6-3-5.
So Matt Harrison now with a 2-run advantage with which to work, and the first pitch of the bottom of the 2nd to Salvador Perez is high for ball 1. Harrison 15 pitches to work through the 1st inning, 10 of them strikes, and the left-hander back to the plate. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Perez, who did not play in yesterday's ball game, brings an 8-game hitting streak into tonight's play. 2-1 the count. Perez has had a very modest number of at-bats against Matt Harrison, 3, but he has 2 hits. Hits this one well to left center field. Hamilton and Murphy going to the gap. It's Hamilton backing up toward the track as that ball carried pretty well. And he runs it down, stepping on to the warning track.
He's fooled just enough. He hit that ball on the good part of the bat, but he didn't have much behind his swing. He was fooled by the off-speed pitch, and it's probably a good thing because he gave it a ride all the way to the warning track.
No, one gone, and here is Jeff Francoeur, and the first pitch is tapped foul. Francoeur, if you'll remember the last time the Rangers were here at Kauffman Stadium, the first week in August, Francoeur was in the midst of a really terrible slump at that time. He got things righted around. He's going to lose a bat there. Adrian Beltre will not field that one. That's the first thing that's come his way. He has not fielded.
He could have if he had to.
Yeah,
though.
if he'd had to.
He could have turned that into an out.
That's
Well, that got way in the fists.
That's
In
a
on the fists.
Home Light XL pitch.
Whoa.
Sawed him off. Wow. But anyway, Francoeur was in the midst of a real bad slump then. He got out of it a little bit, and now he's back in another one. He is just 4 for his last 40. Eastern Division scores tonight. Tampa Bay again a run up on the Yankees. The Yankees lead a little bit tenuous.
Well,
1 game over Baltimore, and Baltimore is shutting out Toronto again.
Tampa Bay could, Baltimore could tie New York, and Tampa Bay could be a game and a half behind them.
It's fouled back by
Again,
Francoeur.
if Tampa Bay and Baltimore pass the Yankees, they're sitting at home in the postseason. They looked like they were home free. I think they had about a 9 or 10 game lead 3 weeks ago. 8 games.
Yeah, it was pretty significant. I can't tell you exactly how many it was, but it
Seemed like at the beginning of August they had a pretty big lead. Maybe it wasn't quite that big, but it was 6 or 7 games anyway.
2-2 pitch now, and that's nub foul. Well, the Yankees now are 4 games behind the Rangers for the best, record in the American League, and there was a time when they were 6 games up.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
a
10-game swing.
Baltimore's an amazing team. There's something like 13-2 in extra inning games.
Francoeur loops one to left field. That's going to fall for a base hit.
24-7 in 1-run games.
Second hit of the night for Kansas City, a 1-out single. But folks, the only remaining way to guarantee your seat for every potential game of the 2012 postseason at Rangers Ballpark is to place a deposit on full or half season tickets for 2013. The deadline to act is Friday at 5 p.m. Just visit TexasRangers.com/seasons for complete details.
The other thing about the Orioles, I think it's still true. It was true a little while ago. They could go to 17 games over 500 tonight and have scored less runs than their opponents.
Right.
I think they're still in that situation. That's pretty remarkable.
It is. It is.
Be in first place in the American League East, having scored less runs than your opponents. And it just speaks to the fact that they've won so many 1-run games.
0-1 pitch to Moustakas is chopped foul. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Would that qualify as doing it with smoke and mirrors, or is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Trying to figure out how in the world they're getting that done.
I think it would tell a sabermetrician, and I'm not a sabermetrician, but I would think it would tell a sabermetrician that their talent on their team doesn't add up to 17 games over 500.
Right. 0-2 pitch from Harrison. A ball and 2 strikes. And Moustakas comes into play tonight with a 7-game hitting streak. He is second on the club with 19 home runs, 65 driven in. And he lines this one to right field. That is trouble as Cruz trying to cut it off. He does, bobbles it momentarily, gets it back in. They're going to have to hold Francoeur at third, and into second with a ringing double is Mike Moustakas. Runners at second and third, and 1 out. And Tony Abreu coming up.
Like a hanging breaking ball that Moustakas jumped all over. Let's take a look. Yeah, definitely a hanging breaking ball. That is not where Matt was trying to throw that pitch.
Rangers now with 1 out will play the infield back. They will give up a run, 4 and out in this situation. Abreu, the switch hitter, up there from the right side. Rip and a miss. It's 0-1. Abreu has had quite a run. He's had back-to-back 3 RBI games. And since August 20th, this Kansas City club has really swung the bat well in these situations. They're the best in the American League. And Abreu, the best among the Royals. Got Francoeur at third, Moustakas at second. 0-1 pitch. It's fouled out of play, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. And Giovanni Soto going to go out and have a talk with Matt Harrison. Tony Abreu has gone 8 for 12 with runners in scoring position.
That just means he's due to strike out right here.
Okay. I knew you'd find some statistical.
I go by law of averages. I'm not really a scientific stat man. I'm thinking change up, down, and away for strike 3.
Got the fastball low and in.
How about fastball? I didn't know what kind of pitch it was. That was just a guess.
He would have struck you out too. Got you looking for a changeup. So 2 strikeouts. Kane to start the game on a similar pitch to Abreu. And there are now 2 gone for Johnny Giavotella.
Matt hasn't really been sharp with his breaking ball, but he's been able to pound that fastball in on the fist of a right-hand hitter pretty well. Struck out Kane with it. He struck out Abreu with it, and those are his 2 strikeouts. Also looks like a pitch that Lance Barksdale's pretty comfortable calling a strike,
yep.
too. Right there.
That is the spot, and Barksdale is consistent with it.
Yep.
0-1 to Giavotella.
And you know, those pitches are touching the inside corner. It's not like they're way inside. They're touching the corner. Sometimes you get that call, it can go either way. That one's all the way in the strike zone.
0-1 pitch. That breaking ball in the dirt. Nice block by Giovanni Soto. 1-1 the count to the Royals' second baseman. Matt Harrison having to toil a little bit more here in the second inning. He's going to throw his 22nd pitch to Giavotella. Francoeur at third had a single. He was pushed over to third by Mike Moustakas' double. Then the big strikeout. And now the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. Last 6 games, Giavotella has had an opportunity to play on a regular basis. He's done a very good job at .316, as you see. Couple of RBI. Harrison ready to work. From the stretch he deals. Good fastball to the outside corner. Looked like he threw that little cutter in the back door, and it's 2-2.
Yep, that's exactly what it was, and looked like he came back and just touched the outside corner. That's a hard pitch for a right-hand hitter coming from a left-hand pitcher. Looks outside, you kind of give up on it. Comes right back and catches the corner.
Trying to get that fastball on the inside corner and left it up a little bit. So the count has gone full. And you do have first base open. That doesn't mean you want to be particularly careful with the number 9 man, but you have the option to do a couple of different things. Harrison agrees to the sign. And now the payoff pitch. Not foul, and he went with a changeup, it looked like.
Good changeup, too. He just barely got a piece of it.
Fifth pitch of the inning for Matt Harrison. Fastball, and that's chopped foul by Giavotella. We'll try it again. Minnesota going to go out. Apparently they've run through plan A, B, and C on the 3 foul balls, and you say, okay, what's plan D? We recycle it and go back to the original, or what? And Matt Harrison made the decision. And we'll see what they came up with. Francoeur at third.
All right, you're the pitcher, Buzz. I'm the catcher. I'm calling a changeup. Are you going to throw it or shake me off?
I'm going to shake you off.
Where are you going?
I'm going that fastball inside.
All right.
Payoff pitch. You got it. Change up away.
He hung in there with
Yep.
it. He's been out in front of those changeups both times, but he's gotten a piece of them. That's frustrating for Matt. He's made a couple of good pitches. Now he's thinking again. I'm going with the same pitch.
Are you?
Yeah.
A little backdoor cutter wouldn't be a bad idea right now. Harrison ready. Payoff pitch. Close. Strike 3.
Can't take that one, son.
A back-to-back strikeouts with runners at second and third, and Matt Harrison works around a potential difficult spot. 2 left aboard on a pair of hits. We're going to the third here in Kansas City. It's the Rangers 2 and the Royals nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by the Built Ford Tough Truck Event. Enjoy huge savings on America's best-selling truck for 35 years running. Ford is the best in Texas. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Top of the order to face Jeremy Guthrie here in the third inning. Rangers on top 2-0. Ian Kinsler takes a strike. Kinsler popped up on the second pitch that he saw from Guthrie to start things off. Foul pop up to Billy Butler, the first baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talking about Guthrie's streak of shutout games. He had at Chicago 8 shutout innings. Against Oakland 7 shutout innings. Then again against Chicago 7 2/3. Gave up 2 runs. They were both unearned. It was a game he took a no-hitter late into the ball game. So he reeled off 3 gems in a row. Then he gave up 6 runs at Boston and then came back and only gave up 1 run to the Tigers.
Kinsler a drive to left center field. That is down, and Kane trying to cut it off. He can't. It's all the way to the wall. Ian will pull in at second base with a ringing double to open up the Ranger third inning. Well, Ian got one that stayed up and out over the plate. It stayed about thigh high out over the plate, and he really ripped it.
Got the bat head out and hit that one solidly. I think Ian was a little frustrated with the first at bat when he popped up in foul territory. He made up for it right there with a rope.
So Kinsler with his 37th double of the year. He is approaching his all-time high, which is 41. See Alex Gordon leading the way in doubles. Kinsler down there in the 5th slot. He is tied for that spot. Good bunt by Elvis, and a nice play by Moustakas to get Andrews at first, but on to third goes Kinsler. The sacrifice goes 5-3. Kinsler now just 90 feet away for Josh Hamilton.
Yep, good bunt. Works as a sacrifice, but you know, if you bunt the perfect bunt, maybe you get a base hit on it. Moustakas was alert to the play. He had to field it. And you're going to, at the very least, be a sacrifice bunt.
So Elvis has had the unique experience of going from a solo home run to a sacrifice bunt. Hamilton, first ball swinging, and it's out of play to the left. Is that a sign of no respect? Hit a home run your first time, they ask you to sacrifice?
No, that's Buzz. That's doing what the game asks you to do.
There you go. There you go.
You haven't been listening to Wash closely enough.
Snap throw to third, and Kinsler is out. Picked off by Perez to Moustakas. Mental lapse for Ian Kinsler to be picked off.
Yeah, and just a little bit careless. You get too far off, and they're right on top of it.
So base is empty now. The 1-1 pitch. Oh, rip and a miss by Hamilton. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Josh, Line single to center field his first time. Way inside. And the count is even at 2-2. Guthrie into the windup. And the 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Pitch down and in, and Hamilton is gone. The Rangers are out despite a leadoff double. No damage done in the third. Bottom of 3 coming up in Kansas City. The Rangers 2, the Royals nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
It's America's Game of the Week as the Packers take on the 49ers. Fox NFL Sunday relaunches this week.
Fans, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes celebrates more than 140 years of Latino contribution to baseball with Hispanic Heritage Family Day. The Rangers host the Mariners on Sunday. That's September the 16th. Bring your family, arrive early for a special on-field ceremony before the 2:05 first pitch of that ball game. For tickets, call 972-RANGERS. Matt Harrison back to the hill, still leading 2-0. And the first pitch of the bottom of the third to Lorenzo Cain is a knee-high strike. Matt Harrison enduring a 28-pitch second inning. A pair of strikeouts to Abreu and Giovanni ended a Royal threat with runners at second and third. Cain shoots one down the first baseline, but it is foul and will travel on down to the ball boy just past the tarpaulin. Count moves to 1-2 strikes.
A lot of Ranger fans in town. Robert and Carol Sue Dennis and Carol and Ruth Ann Carlisle, I think it is. They're on the road with the Rangers from Springtown, Texas. Both couples celebrating their 47th anniversary. Wow, that's unusual. Maybe not today, but at some point in time. Robert and Carol Sue Dennis and Carol and Ruth Ann Carlisle. That's easy for some people to say.
I thought it came out very well.
Thanks,
You
Buzz,
got
thanks.
the idea across.
You got my back. I appreciate that. Donnie Condit is here with his son Chris. Donnie, a member of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. Donnie was in Seattle, if I remember right.
Two and two, the count to Lorenzo Cain, leading off the bottom of the third inning.
Lonnie and Linda Roudner here again. They're from Hideaway, Texas. They're here for the whole series. Glad you guys are here. Also had a huge batch of muffins from Sonny and Jacqueline Nickel. Appreciate that very much. They're from Hereford, Texas. Want to have a shout out to their friends and family back home. First trip to Kansas City. First trip to see the Rangers in person this year. Well, thank you very much, Sonny and Jacqueline. Glad you're here.
3-2, the count to Cain. Harrison with the payoff pitch. Chopper up the middle, charged by Kinsler. He can't come up with it. Cain's going to be aboard. That'll be an error charge to Ian Kinsler, and that's a play we've seen Ian make several times.
Yeah, you've got to charge it. You've got to take whatever hop you get. Normally, I think Ian comes up with that hop. Just didn't come up with it that time. Cain runs pretty well, so he didn't have a lot of time. He had to catch it on the run and get ready to fire it.
A one on, nobody out. Alcides Escobar chopped one to Adrian Beltre back in the first inning. Takes the first pitch high for ball one.
Dub and Jerry Green are here. They were born and raised in Texas, but they retired to a golf course in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. I want to say hello to their friends and family, especially their grandson Trey, who's a big Ranger fan. So hi, Trey, from your grandmother and grandfather. Big Ranger fans. Boy, there's a lot of them here too. The Ranger side, on the third base side, might be as many Ranger fans as there are Kansas City fans.
A lot of red over there. Escobar shoots one foul.
Shirley and Cal Coast are in the front row right behind the Ranger dugout. They're spread all over the place. There they are. Cleveland's telling him right now.
1-1 the count to Escobar. Line drive, fair ball down the right left field line. Murphy has a long way to go to get it. And being waved around third is Kane. There will be no throw to the plate. And the Royals are on the board as Escobar gets a looping double down the left field line. Drives in his 43rd run of the year. It's now 2-1 Rangers.
Well, Escobar and Kane had at bats where they really battled up there. They didn't really come close to hitting anything hard. Kane had a long at bat, hit the dribbler up the middle that went for an error. And then Escobar got jammed right off the handle and just hit a little looper down the line. By the time David got to it, Kane came all the way around and scored on it.
There's still nobody out. And Alex Gordon takes the pitch just a little bit off the inside corner for ball one. Gordon, a line drive single his first time to the plate. Well, Harrison again working with a little bit of hot water. Fires a strike to even the count at 1-1. Escobar the lead from second. And the pitch from Harrison. Chopper to the right side. That'll get the runner over. Kinsler throws on to Moreland. Gordon retired. One away, a man on third for Billy Butner. Right now, let's go back to our Fox Sports Southwest studios for a Mazda CX-5 game break. Here's Dana Larson. Dana?
Buzz, a New York loss and a Baltimore win would mean a tie atop the AL East for the first time in nearly 3 months. Baltimore is up. The Yankees are down. 3 home runs hit by Tampa Bay, and they lead 5-2 now in the middle of the 6th. Back to you.
All right, Dana, thank you. And you take a look at the AL East standings. That is pending the outcome of all the games tonight. Very, very tight in that American League East and also in the wild card. Butler, ground ball to short back in the first inning. Escobar down the line from third as Harrison misses inside to even the count at 1-1. Matt working from the stretch with one out. Mind you, Billy Butler 8 out of 13 now in his career against Matt Harrison. And he asked for time as he felt Harrison was taking a little too long to decide on the pitch. Now the left-hander's ready. Fouled at home plate. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Harrison got a couple of big outs last inning with runners at second and third. A couple of big strikeouts. He's got a runner at third now representing the tying run here in the third inning. The 1-2 pitch coming. Skied to center field, and it's going to be close to being deep enough. Hamilton makes the catch. Escobar coming down. The throw coming in. It is not in time. Soto thought he had made the catch and the tag at the same time. And he is putting up a fuss with Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire. Ron Washington out there to have his say also.
Some kind of throw. Escobar's a good runner, so it's not like Josh had a soft runner at third base. He launched an accurate throw right on home plate. We'll get a look at it right here. Tough to tell.
Yeah, I don't, from that angle, it didn't look like he got it.
Well, he got his foot in there, didn't it?
Thought so. In any event, the guy whose opinion it matters the most, Lance Barksdale, said he didn't get him. So that is a heck of a throw. Yeah. So we've got a brand new ball game, tied at 2, and the count now to Salvador Perez is no balls and 2 strikes. Matt Harrison was able to hold the Royals off in the second, not so here in the third.
Both of the runs are unearned runs because of the leadoff error.
Right. That they are.
The Rangers had a good chance to score their third run in the third and then gave up 2 unearned runs here in the second. Instead of 3-0, it's 2-2. Another birthday. Tom Barr from Dallas is 85 years old today. Tom's a big Ranger fan. Happy birthday, Tom. Hope you're watching.
2-2 pitch, fouled away, and we'll try it again.
They're fouling a lot of good pitches off instead of putting them into play. If they put them into play, they wouldn't go anywhere.
Skied to right field, not very deep. Long run for Nelly Cruz. The ball is high enough to give him an opportunity to get there. And the side retired. A couple of unearned runs on a hit and an error. Nobody left. On to the fourth we go. Brand new ball game. 2-2 Rangers and Royals.
And it just keeps getting better.
He struck him out on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Joe Nathan strikes out the side of the ninth.
September 12th against the Indians is Dollar Hot Dog Night.
And the Ford game summary tonight looks like this. Rangers and Royals tied at 2, top of the fourth inning. Elvis Andrus, a solo home run in the first, and Mitch Moreland an RBI double in the second, accounting for both Ranger runs. Meanwhile, Matt Harrison gave up a couple of unearned runs in that third inning. 4 hits, no walks, and a couple of strikeouts. Adrian Beltre starting things off against Jeremy Guthrie. The first pitch, a knee-high strike. Guthrie has fared a little bit better each of the last 2 innings as compared to the first. Used fewer pitches and had a relatively easy time of it after the leadoff double by Kinsler. The sacrifice bunt moved him to third, then Perez picked him off third in that third inning. 0-2 the count to Adrian. Got him swinging. 3-pitch punch out. Third of the evening for Guthrie. 1 away for Nelson Cruz.
Second straight curveball. Both of them right down at the bottom of the strike zone. Both of them nice pitches.
Nelly Cruz, a strikeout victim back in the first inning. And the curveball catches the inside corner. Nelly backing out of the way, and that ball just nudging the inside part of the plate. Oh, 0-2. Guthrie really starting to pour in strike after strike, and with his varied assortment, he is giving the Rangers a tough time of late.
He's kind of exactly what Kansas City needed for the last couple of months of the year, a veteran guy to come in and give them quality innings, pitch deep into ball games. They really didn't have anybody like that.
The 0-2 pitch. That's out of play to the right. Cruz 1 for 2 yesterday. That Ranger 8-4 win. Facing Jeremy Guthrie. Nelson is 4 out of 16 in his career against Guthrie, and he takes low, and the count now is a ball and 2 strikes. Line to center field. Kane coming on. The ball hangs up for him, and he's able to make the grab on the run. That is out number 2. And Cruz hit it hard, but nothing to show for it as he makes that U-turn at first base. 2 gone, and Michael Young will step in. Michael, an infield single as he led off the Rangers' second. Well, he has now hit safely in his last 3 ball games at a 400 mark. 4 out of 10. Guthrie back to the plate. And that breaking ball catches the inside corner. Michael with a home run and 5 RBI in his career. It spans 29 at-bats against Jeremy Guthrie. Check swing and the appeal to first, and no swing, says Field and Culbreth. So the count moves in Young's favor, 2 balls and 1 strike. And a knee-high strike poured in over the outside corner. That will even things out. Guthrie working noticeably quicker here in the 4th inning, and he's kind of picked up the pace in each of the last 2 innings. As he misses outside, the count to Young has gone full. Michael trying to get aboard with 2 outs. David Murphy, the number 7 hitter, would get a shot at Guthrie here in the 4th inning if Young gets aboard. Payoff pitch on the way. Into the hole again, but Escobar has a play on this. Throw is dropped by Billy Butler, and Michael Young is safe. Must be something about Young running to first that just tells Billy Butler don't catch the ball.
Well, Michael got hit on the first one. I don't think he's going to get hit on that one, though.
It's going to be an error on Butler. Good throw by Escobar, right on the money. Popped out of Butler's glove. Bloop. Now let's see if the Rangers can't take advantage. Oh, got him right in the thumb.
Clank. Well, he took advantage of a 2-out walk to get a run, but a 2-out error to get a run.
Off speed, it catches the outside corner to Murphy. 0-1 the count. Murph grounded into a double play back in the 2nd inning. Saw a lot of off-speed pitches that time from Jeremy Guthrie. Guthrie started him off with 1 here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Guthrie wearing his age on his back. Right-handers ready. Murphy takes a knee-high strike that bored its way through the bottom of the strike zone.
A very similar pitch to the one that Giovitella took to strike out to end the 2nd inning, right down at the bottom of the strike zone.
Young with the lead from first, the 1-2 pitch. That is outside. The count is evened to David Murphy. Talk about all Murph's statistical accomplishments. The one that probably he's happiest with is what he's done consistently since the All-Star break. 372 with the average. 2-2, and that's poked foul.
Oh, snow coned it over there. Nice play. Got a Ranger fan. The guy in front of him jumped up and screamed him. He stuck his glove up and it went right in the tip of his glove. That's why he probably said, why are you bringing that glove to the game tonight?
Yeah. Again, the 2-2 pitch. And Murphy pops it up. Left side of the infield, Moustakas backpedaling. And the third baseman makes the catch. That will do it. No runs, no hits. The error leaves one stranded for the Rangers. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Rangers 2, Royals 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
The Rangers continue their series with the Royals. Catch it on Fox Sports Southwest.
Tie ball game here in Kansas City as the Rangers and Royals play in the bottom of the 4th inning. All the Rangers fans who are here that we've talked about, I think every one of them asked me about Mike Napoli. When's he coming back? How's he doing? He's making progress. He made more progress today, and he's just got 1 hurdle left to overcome.
That's the final thing. You know, I threw the bases today. You know, everything went well. You know, I'm catching bullpens. I'm doing everything but, you know, that final step of running. So once that comes back, you know, I'll be back out there on the field.
Yeah, and you know, he had one setback when he was trying to get back on the field when we were in the last homestand. He says he wants to avoid that. He wants to make sure that when he comes back, he's going to be back for the duration, so he's being a little bit careful with it, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Yeah, that's leg injuries, boy. You just can't rush them. They heal on their own time schedule. Jeff Francoeur leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Royals, and Harrison back with a 2-1 pitch. Misses low and outside. It's 3 balls and a strike. Francoeur a looping single to left field his first time up. Matt Harrison with the 3-1 pitch. That's line to left center field. Murphy in a hurry. Dives, makes the catch. David Murphy, a headlong dive into the gap, came up with a sharp line drive off the bat of Jeff Francoeur.
Didn't know if David was going to get to that ball or not, but boy, he got a good jump and he never gave up on it. Stayed right with it and made a beautiful play.
Well, baseball kind of evened out. Francoeur didn't hit the first one very well and had a base hit. This time he hit it right on the nose, and David Murphy says, not this time. Now here's Mike Moustakas, and Matt Harrison going a little bit quicker than Moustakas was ready to handle, so he got the home plate umpire Lance Barksdale to call time. 1 ball, no strikes. And Harrison deals a strike on the outside part of the plate. Moustakas got a hanging breaking ball and double to right field his first time up there against Matt. Gets fisted this time, a little looper. Kinsler going over and makes the grab right behind Mitch Moreland. And that is out number 2. And let's take a look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. David Murphy, as you know, multiple hits in 5 straight games. Who holds the Ranger record for most consecutive multi-hit games? David is a little bit shy of that record. I'll give you that hint. Not by much, though. So 2 gone. Bases empty. Tony Abreu coming to the plate. Abreu, one of the big strikeouts that Matt Harrison was able to get with runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 2nd inning. Abreu came up there with 1 out, and Harrison struck him out looking, and then struck out Giabatello looking. Into that threat, but the Royals able to come back, get a couple of unearned runs in the 3rd inning to tie this game up. 1 ball and 1 strike to Abreu. That's out of play to the right, and the count moves to 1-2. Abreu signed this last December with the Royals as a minor league free agent. He spent time the last several years with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Two-hopper that almost handcuffed Adrian Beltre, but as always, Adrian comes out with the ball, makes a strong throw, and that will do it. A 1-2-3 frame. First of the night for Matt Harrison and company. Going to the 5th inning, and David Murphy and company throwing out some leather in a 2-2 ball game with the Royals.
You come to the backyard of Texas to escape all the drama of everyday life. No stress, just your family and friends and good food and a good time. No drama, just the dramatic.
A swing and a long drive, way back. He's safe. He's safe. The Rangers win.
September 14th, Windmill Suites presents a post-game fireworks show set to sing-along music.
Folks, we'd like to invite you to tune in each Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest for Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. Visit www.hometownkids.tv for more information.
Little guy's having fun.
What better place to be on a school night than the ballpark? Giovanni Soto starting things off, a 2-2 game, and Guthrie's first pitch to Soto is popped up. Foul territory, over to take a look, Perez, but that'll be back 6 or 7 rows over the Royals dugout, and the count moves to 0-1. Soto earned a walk his first time up, came around to score on the 2-out double by Mitch Moreland. Guthrie to the wind, and the 0-1 pitch is chopped foul, and the count moves to no balls and 2 strikes. Giovanni Soto has had 3 home runs in the 5 career games that he's played against Kansas City. That dates back to last year. All of those games have been right here at Kauffman Stadium. Of course, he had that big 3-run home run yesterday. 1-2 pitch. And the count evens. Soto has hit safely in 10 of his last 12 ball games at a 289 clip. His offense has started to come on, and seems like working with the pitchers too is getting to be fairly routine for him. Next pitch is fouled away over our heads and into the upper deck. Still 2-2.
It turned out to be an important trade for the Rangers to get Soto here to catch every day, while Napoli's still trying to get back from his injury. And a good solid guy to have.
Guthrie's next pitch. That breaking ball is chopped foul. We'll try it again. Good to hear that Knapp feels like he's reasonably close. Just the running part of it now. You know, able to do everything else that a catcher needs to do. That sounds like one of those deals. If it were postseason, he would probably be able to play.
Yeah, probably.
They'd push it. Fly ball right field, not very well hit. Francoeur coming on, and that is out number 1. And our AT&T trivia question and its answer coming up. David Murphy has multiple hits in 5 straight games. What's the Ranger record, and who holds it for most consecutive multi-hit games? Rusty Greer had 9 straight back in 2000. Redhead playing the same position as Murph.
You figure it had to be someone like Rusty, Michael Young, Julio Franco. Generally, you get that many hits in a row, extra hit games in a row. You're not a 220 hitter that just got lucky.
Yeah.
You're probably a 300 hitter who gets 180 to 200 hits in a season.
Mitch Moreland down on the count 0-1. He doubled his first trip to the plate. Check swing on a changeup, and it's 0-2 now. Mitch with that 2-out double back in the second drove in his 47th run of the year. Guthrie back with the 0-2 pitch. And tried that back foot breaking ball and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Moreland after that hit now, the batting average up to 288. Call strike 3. Guthrie got that comeback fastball that started inside and came back to the inside corner.
No, Guthrie can throw hard, and he's got good movement on that fastball too. That's exactly what it did. Looked like a ball to Mitch, but it came right back and caught the inside corner.
A 4th strikeout this evening for Jeremy Guthrie. Bases empty, 2 away, and here's Ian Kinsler, who doubled as he led off the Ranger third. Unfortunately, after a sacrifice moved him to third, he was picked off by Salvador Perez, the catcher. That was the last opportunity the Rangers have had to score in this ball game, as Guthrie has settled down pretty well. 1 ball and no strikes. And that pitch low, 2-0 to Kinsler. Ian is now hit in 7 straight games against the Royals. Takes low. It's 3-0. He's gone 10 for 29 over those 7 ball games. Not really a surprise, though, because he's a lifetime .325 hitter against Kansas City. Guthrie to the line, the 3-0 pitch. Way inside, ball 4, and Kinsler is aboard for the 2nd straight time. Second walk of the evening issued by Guthrie. And with 2 away, Elvis Andrus will come to the plate. And Elvis Andrus started things off with a bang, so to speak, against Guthrie in the first.
Hanging slider, it looked like. You saw most of the home runs yesterday were hanging off-speed pitches, and that was the case with Elvis's right there. Guthrie's walked 2 guys today. Both of them have come with 2 outs and nobody on. Last time he did it was Giovanni Soto, and he scored on a double by Mitch Moreland. So the Rangers can get a 2-out rally going right here.
Kinsler, a pretty good lead at first. He is staying put, and the first pitch to Elvis is a strike on the inside corner. Elvis, other than the home run, had a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd inning. 1-for-1 officially tonight, and that batting average at an even .300 as he faces Guthrie here in the 5th. Snap throw to first, and Kinsler back with a dive. Ian, 21 out of 29 on the stolen base this year. Guthrie is set at the belt. The next pitch is a little bit high. It's 1-1 now to Elvis Andrus. Elvis now 3 home runs, 55 driven in. Guthrie nods in agreement. He in a half-step better lead this time. He's staying put. And a one-hopper hit down to Moustakas, who goes to second the short way for the force play. Side retired. The Walker left stranded. No runs, no hits, 1 left. Halfway through the ball game, it's the Rangers 2 and the Royals 2. Well, folks, circle your calendars for September the 11th. That's a week from tonight, that's when Fox Sports Southwest and the Texas Rangers host Military Appreciation Night. There will be a live online auction during the Rangers telecast with the Cleveland Indians at Rangers Ballpark to raise funds for the Wounded Warrior Project. Fans will have an opportunity during the telecast to bid on several one-of-a-kind sports and entertainment packages provided by Fox Sports Southwest and participating sponsors. Stay tuned for more details on how you can participate. Matt Harrison falls behind 2 balls and no strikes to Johnny Giovatello, the number 9 hitter, leading off the Royals' 5th inning of a 2-2 ball game. And the next pitch is skied to right center field, not very deep. Hamilton into the gap and makes the catch for out number 1. And let's head back to our Fox Sports Southwest studios for a Mazda CX-5 game break. Here's Dana Larson. Dana.
Buzz, thanks. Orioles looking to win for the 9th time in 11 games and possibly join the Yankees in first place, a team on a mission tonight. Already 7-0 when Chris Davis doubles. Adam Jones comes in to score. Orioles running away with this one. They are up 12-0 now in the 8th inning.
Thank you, Dana.
Must have heard us said
Wow.
that they were being outscored by their opponents, trying to make up for it in one game.
Lorenzo Cain is swinging a miss, and he is down in the count 0-2. Shut somebody out 12-0. He'll get that ratio a little bit more in your favor. Cain reached via an error in the 3rd inning, and that's what started the trouble for the Rangers in that frame. An error followed by an RBI double and then a sac fly 1 out later. Off-speed pitch that just missed the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Cain.
Matt had to throw over 50 pitches in the 2nd and the 3rd innings. 53 pitches to be exact.
Line to right field. Cruz going toward the line, can't get there. Cain, after a big turn, will hang on with a 1-out single. Puts him aboard here in the 5th inning, and Alcides Escobar is coming up.
He had a quick 4th inning, trying to have another fairly quick inning here, keep that pitch count down a little bit so he can pitch a little deeper into the ball game. There it is, 53 pitches, 28 in the second, 25 in the third.
So Matt, now we'll go back to the stretch with Cain at first. Escobar had the looping RBI double down the left field line his last time up. He is 1 out of 2. Harrison goes to work on Cain, who has good speed at first base. Cain has stolen 7 bases, has not been caught yet this year. Escobar, a big rip and a foul back to the screen. It's 0-1. Lorenzo Cain was out with a couple of injuries, one right after the other. Missed a significant portion of the year. Pretty good lead. And the 0-1 pitch catches the outside corner.
Escobar had his average well over 300 a while back. He slumped a little bit. He's still hitting over 290. He's stolen 27 out of 31 bases. Having a good solid season, playing very good defensive shortstop, turning into a pretty good offensive player. He's gone from a guy that hit 9th in the lineup to now Ned Yost is comfortable with him at the top of the lineup.
0-2 pitch. A ball and 2 strikes. Harrison studying the signs from Giovanni Soto. Lorenzo Cain at first has a pretty good lead over there. Harrison a long look, and now he will go that way with a soft toss. Matt has done a very good job of varying his moves to home plate and to first base so that he was corral that running game as best he can. Pitch, chop foul. Escobar, as he did the first 2 times up, having a pretty tough at bat against Matt Harrison. Escobar, one of the centerpieces of that trade with Milwaukee that sent Zach Greinke from Kansas City to Milwaukee. Harrison again with a 1-2, and that's again fouled away to the right.
Yeah, all these foul balls are one of the reasons why Matt's pitch count is over 90 right now in the 5th inning. A frustrating night as far as that goes. Make good pitches, and instead of having them put in play weekly, they're fouling them off, causing Matt to have to keep throwing a lot of pitches. They're not hitting a good part of the bat for the most part. They're just fighting them off.
Chopper out towards second. Kinsler shovels on to Andrews to get the lead runner Cain, and that's all they will get. Well, that is out number 2, and Escobar now will trade places with Lorenzo Cain at first base, and it'll bring up Alex Gordon.
He finally put one in play without much on it.
Yeah,
but he got an out anyway.
Good news, bad news.
Got him out. Just took a lot of pitches to get it done.
Well, Gordon steps to the plate, 1 for 2 tonight. Escobar with good speed is establishing a pretty good lead, and Matt Harrison will to work on him. Escobar 27 stolen bases. He's the team leader in that category. 27 of 31. Harrison's first pitch to Gordon, check swing, and he did not go around, according to third base umpire Gary Cederstrom. 1 ball, no strikes. Mentioned yesterday that Ned Yost moved Alex Gordon back to the number 3 slot from the leadoff position, and he has really flourished. Had a tough start to it. It went 0 for the first couple of days, but since then has really blossomed back in that number 3 position. Hitting well over 300. Makes that next pitch, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. 319 the average in the 18 games since he got back into the 3-hole with 14 RBI. Harrison's 2-0 pitch, and that gets the outside corner.
Roy Oswalt tossing out in the bullpen. That's got to be zeroing in on upper 90s as far as pitch count goes.
97, 98 coming up. On the way. Hit well to center field. Hamilton on his horse. He will pull up, and that ball's gone. Dead center field off the bat of Alex Gordon, and the Royals take a 4-2 lead.
Square with a fastball, and Gordon really not a home run hitter. That's only his 11th home run, but he put a charge in that one. The guy that's going to hit 50 doubles this year, so he's got kind of line drive power. Got that one up and hit it 410 feet.
So 4-2 Kansas City, and here's Billy Butler. And he fouls the next pitch down. It's no balls and 2 strikes. 414 feet. The tail of the tape on that Alex Gordon home run. Gordon now with 62 runs driven in. Hard hit ball off the glove of Beltre into left field.
Finally got one by him.
Yep. Now Butler aboard. We'll see what the official scorer does with that. That's going to be ruled a base hit. Pretty hard hit ball. I would have to agree with that. The Butler at first. Still 2 outs. Here's Salvador Perez. He lines one to right center field. That is going to plug the gap, go all the way to the wall. Butler being waved around third. And Kinsler making a throw, but it's not in time as Butler slides home. On the double by Perez, the Royals lead 5-2.
Got a breaking ball up. Max packed a lot of pitches into 4 2/3. He's up around 102, 103 pitches on a warm, humid night. He'll just be getting a little bit tired right now.
Ron Washington out there, and he is the quality of the bullpen, so that's going to do it for Matt Harrison. Harrison not able to complete the 5th inning. Goes 4 2/3. So he will be replaced by Roy Oswalt, making his way in from the right field bullpen. 5-2 in favor of Kansas City. We'll be right back on Fox Sports Southwest. And let's take a look at the Ford leaderboard for the month of August. Major League Baseball, the best bullpen ERAs, and you would find Tampa at the top of things with a 145. Kansas City is next, and they are under 2. Rangers are 4th at 2.5. Rangers shortening up games, and coming out of the bullpen is Roy Oswalt. Get a look at the numbers on Roy.
Yeah, it's been a while since Roy has pitched. Overall numbers. Roy, on most occasions where he's come in as a reliever, he's thrown the ball well.
Oswalt last appeared as a starter back on the 23rd of August against the Twins, and the first pitch to Jeff Francoeur is tapped foul at home plate. It's 0-1. Francoeur 1 for 2 tonight. Lined out last time. He was robbed by David Murphy with a diving catch out there in left field. Oswalt a check of second. That's where Salvador Perez has taken his lead. The pitch to Francoeur is fouled away to the right. Jeff Francoeur in his career only 1 at bat against Roy Oswalt. I would have thought he would have had more when he was with the Braves, but clearly he didn't play against Oswalt. The 1 at bat he did have, he struck out. Oswalt the advantage in the count here at 0-2. slow breaking ball, and Francoeur just able to spoil it. Oswalt in that start against Minnesota worked 5 1/3 innings. Gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 7 hits, 5 strikeouts. Right-handers ready to go. A check of second. Call strike 3. Fastball nailed on the outside corner, and Francoeur caught a look. Side retired, but the Royals take the lead. They get 3 runs on 4 hits, I should say, and strand 1. After 5 complete, it's now Kansas City 5, Texas 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
The Rangers continue their series with the Royals. Catch it on Fox Sports Southwest.
It's time now for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight, the jackpot is worth $100 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Rowan Hassel from Weatherford. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, Rowan Hassel from Weatherford will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant.
The Rangers haven't had one of those big innings lately, one of those 5 or 6 run innings. You get a little rally going right here. Answer that 3-run 5th inning that the Kansas City Royals put up there. Looked like Matt was on the verge of pitching out of that inning, but he got a fastball right out over the plate to Gordon, and Gordon went dead center field with it, 411 feet.
0-1 the count to Josh Hamilton, leading off the Rangers 6th. Josh 1 for 2. And he had a good rip at that fastball from Guthrie. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Make that 0-2, excuse me. Hamilton went down swinging on an off-speed pitch in the 3rd inning against Guthrie. That one right there. Same pitch, same spot, same result. 1 gone. Adrian Beltre coming up. Well, folks, from now and through Sunday at 11:59 p.m., fans can register for the opportunity to purchase up to 2 tickets for one of 3 possible 2012 American League Division Series games at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. There is no charge to register for this opportunity, which is the only option for fans to purchase individual tickets. Rangers also have luxury suite rentals available for possible 2012 postseason games. For more information on postseason tickets, call 972-RANGERS or log on to TexasRangers.com. Adrian Beltre skies one, shallow center field. Long run in for Lorenzo Cain, but that ball high enough where he can get there with ease, and he makes the catch. That is out number 2, and Nelson Cruz coming up.
After Guthrie joined the Royals, he had a start against Minnesota at home where he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. But since that time, he's pitched very well in this ballpark. He's had 4 starts here. He's gone 2-1. His ERA coming into this start in his last 4 starts was 1.29. And he's having another solid start at home here. Well, that was a nice trade that brought him over for Jonathan Sanchez.
Yeah, like you said, Tom, both guys needed really the change of scenery. They were not flourishing where they were.
No, that's for sure.
Cruz, a towering fly ball to relatively shallow left field. Alex Gordon camps underneath it. And the Rangers go very quickly and quietly in the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down. 5.5 in the books from Kansas City. The Royals 5, the Rangers 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
You'll find the backyard of Texas a great place to unwind. Loosen that tie, grab a hot dog, relax with friends and family. And when the time comes, you can get yourself all wound up, too. Yeah, unwind with the unbelievable.
And the Rangers walk off with a 4-3 win. See the Rangers and Indians September 11th through the 13th.
Believe it or not, cooler weather will be arriving soon in our region, and on this week's Southwest Outdoorsman Report, I'll have your fall bass fishing forecast. Join us this week.
The Southwest Outdoors Report on Fox Sports Southwest. Fox College Football, presented by Coors Light. First, it's a Conference USA showdown as Tulane battles Tulsa. And Rice looks to edge out Kansas. Fox College Football, Saturday on Fox Sports Southwest, FX, and Fox.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Rangers Baseball, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rangers Baseball, LLC.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Geico Insurance. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway MPG. Roy Oswalt to work in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Moustakas leading things off. Oswalt facing the bottom third of the Kansas City order. Roy came on and struck out Jeff Francoeur to end the 5th inning. Did not get that done until Matt Harrison had given up 3 runs in the frame to allow Kansas City to take its current 5-2 lead in the ballgame. 0-2 pitch, fastball up, got him swinging.
He struck out Francoeur on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That one was 93 miles an hour. And I would imagine it's obviously a different situation for Roy, having always been a starting pitcher, to adapt to a relief role, knowing how to stay sharp when he hasn't pitched in 9 or 10 days. But judging by the first 2 hitters he's faced, he's done a pretty good job of that.
Little pump back liner on one hop out to Elvis, and that'll do it for Tony Abreu. Now 2 gone, and Johnny Giavotella coming up. Now the progressive upcoming schedule. This is how it looks for the Rangers. 2 more ball games after tonight here in Kansas City, Wednesday and Thursday. Then over the weekend, it's on to Tampa Bay for a trio of games from the Trop. Monday's an off day. Rangers back home to face Cleveland for 3, Seattle for 3, and then back out to the West Coast at 3 with the Angels and 3 with Seattle. First pitch to Giavotella, a knee-high strike. It's 0-1.
Coming right at him with his fastball, that's for sure.
Yes, he is. Giavotella tonight has been called out on strikes and skied to center field. Oswalt back to the plate, and that pitch fouled away. Oswalt's made 10 pitches. They've all been strikes in this ballgame. Struck out Jeff Francoeur on 4 pitches to end the 5th inning. Got Mike Moustakas very quickly, and Tony Abreu hit the first pitch. 0-2. And there's the first ball. It's 1-2 now. Royals 5 runs on 8 hits. Rangers 2 runs on 5 hits. Guthrie has, since the 3rd inning, gotten very tough on the Ranger offense here tonight. Both ball clubs with 1 error in the ballgame. Hit well to center field by Giavotella. Going back is Hamilton. He's at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Johnny Giavotella with his first home run of the year. It's a 6-2 Kansas City lead.
That ball must be carrying pretty well tonight. One thing when Gordon hits it out of there, but Giavotella dead center. Wouldn't have expected that kind of a 415-foot home run from him, but a fastball inside half of the plate, and he rode it right out of there.
You know, that's his 3rd big league home run of his career. He came up last year with the Royals and had a couple of home runs in 46 ball games. He gets one here tonight on September the 4th of 2012. Now here's Lorenzo Cain, and he fouls the next pitch back. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Cain tonight 1 for 3. He has singled, reached on an error, and struck out. It's out of play to the right. Still 0-2. Talking last time that Cain was at the plate, about the time that he has missed. He missed basically half the season. First, he injured his left groin, and then he suffered a torn hip flexor while he was trying to return to action from the groin strain. That pitch in the dirt. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. So he was out from April 10th until July 13th. Got him swinging. Changeup from Oswald, and Roy gets his 3rd strikeout. But the Royals get on the board again. Giovatello's solo home run. We're going to the 7th inning. It's the Royals 6, the Rangers 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Cowboys game night, Wednesday night at 11 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Welcome back to Kansas City. One of the really neat things they do at this ballpark is they pay tribute each and every night to Buck O'Neil. He was a legend in this town, of course, from the Negro Leagues, an all-star and a manager, and then a humanitarian and a scout for the Royals. For years after he died, they left his seat behind home plate empty. Now they've decided to give that seat each and every night to someone who does great work in the community. That's Eva Marie Evans, and she's been active in this community for 65 years. She's done mission trips to India and Argentina and helps the poor in the city of Kansas City as well. So she is a great person. Every night there's some great person in the Buck O'Neil seats as they remember a great man here in Kansas City. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, John, thank you very much. Yeah, Buck was quite a man, a great ambassador for baseball, not just for Kansas City, but for all of baseball. One of the greats from the Negro Leagues, and went on to Major League service in a lot of different capacities. Michael Young, a chopper out towards short. Escobar this time held on to on the throw by Butler that time. That's the first time that's happened with Michael Young running. And that is out number 1.
Well, since Kinsler doubled to lead off the 3rd, the only base runners have been Michael Young, who got on an error, and Ian, who walked. Other than that, Guthrie has been mowing him down, keeping the ball down. Good movement on his fastball. He's had a good curveball today. And you can see the way he's pitching against the Rangers tonight, why he's had a number of good games since he came over here to Kansas City. And for the 5th straight time, he's pitched really well in this ballpark.
Now facing David Murphy, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Double play, ground out, and a pop out. And a strike to the outside corner evens the count at 1-1. Guthrie with his 97th pitch of the night coming up. Breaking ball, that's hit well to right field. Francoeur is going back. He has room as he just pulls up shy of the warning track. And that is out number 2. This day in Rangers history is brought to you by McDonald's $1 drink menu. 1996, Dean Palmer hit his 34th home run of the season, a new Rangers record for 3rd baseman. It was 16 years ago today. He finished the season with 38, and that remains the Ranger record for home runs by a 3rd baseman. We may see Adrian Beltre challenge that. He's going to have to go this year. He's got 28 right now, but not out of the question. Giovanni Soto 0 for 1, a walk and a run scored. He's also flied to right field. Guthrie misses low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeremy Guthrie, the 33-year-old out of Oregon, signed originally out of the University of Stanford, where he was an All-American. Shot foul by Soto. The count moves to a ball and 2 strikes. Guthrie originally enrolled and played a year of college baseball at Brigham Young. He went on a missionary trip and came back and decided he would go to Stanford and became one of the all-time greats at the University of Stanford. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Giovanni Soto. Guthrie back to the plate. Breaking ball is popped up on the right side of the infield. Giovatello, the second baseman, calling off Butler, makes the catch. And that is 7 straight now sent down by Guthrie. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Royals 6, Rangers 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. To celebrate 40 years of baseball in the Metroplex, Metro PCS is giving away 40 Samsung 4G LTE phones. Enter to win at participating locations. Metro PCS, wireless for all. Roy Oswalt back to the hill. Royals leading 6-2. They have out-hit the Rangers, as you see, 9-5 here tonight. Alcides Escobar to start things off. Escobar 1 for 3 with a couple of runs scored. Takes inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Escobar, an RBI double in the 3rd inning. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 5th inning. Slider from Roy Oswalt makes it 1-1.
Yeah, Roy's throwing the ball well. I think he's kicking himself a little bit for getting that pitch in the spot of the strike zone where Giovatello could drive it out of the ballpark. But other than that, 3 of the 4 outs have been strikeouts.
Oswalt, 20 pitches so far, 17 of them have been strikes. He's recorded 4 outs doing that. Pitch low and outside. And the count is even now at 2-2. Escobar currently hitting at .293. Oswalt working from the extreme first base side of the pitching rubber. Okay's the sign, goes into the wind. A line drive out toward left. Murphy coming on in a hurry and able to run it down for out number 1. Let's head back to our Fox Sports Southwest studios and a Mazda game break with Dana Larson.
White Sox lead in the Central down to a game and a half. They've lost 6 of their last 10, and Minnesota up big here. Trevor Plouffe with his first triple of the season. It is a 14-4 Twins lead over the White Sox in the top of the 5th, guys.
Goodness gracious. Central Division, I'm not sure that anybody wants to win it. Tigers play great, then fall apart for a while, and the White Sox have done the same thing.
Buzz, you're talking about extreme side of the rubber. What's the theory behind where you stand on the 3rd or first base side of the rubber?
You know, I always thought at least I always did, and was told that growing up, that you always stood as far to your arm side of the pitching rubber as you could. If you were left-handed, you stood over in the first base side of the rubber, because you increase the angle of the ball coming toward home plate, so that it would be kind of cutting across the strike zone, rather than when you stand in the middle or stand on the other side, like Oswalt's on the first base side. All of his pitches, if you're a hitter looking at him, start in the middle of the plate. In other words, he throws in the middle, and so there really is an angle. But pitchers get comfortable throwing from wherever. I'm not sure there's a right or wrong way to do it.
Occasionally you'll hear a pitcher say that he was struggling a little bit, and he and the pitching coach decided to move to a different side of the rubber. Is that just a psychological thing, or do you think it has a purpose behind it?
I think it's psychological, personally. I mean, you're going to push off straight toward your target ideally anyway, no matter where you're standing.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it works for you, that's fine. You know, I'm sure hitters do some things sometimes, little changes as you look at Oswalt's motion. If you drew a straight line from his back foot toward his target, where the catcher's glove is, no matter where he is standing on the pitching rubber, those 24 inches of pitching rubber, you're going to step straight toward that target.
Yeah.
But I'm sure hitters have their little things they tweak every once in a while to make them feel better about their swing. I mean, you know, you hear guys talk about the mental side of the game and how much at the big league level that is of being successful. And I think confidence, you call it superstition if you want, but doing things the same way because you've had success is a big part of that.
Yeah.
The ball and 2 strikes to count to Billy Butler. Butler 1 for 2 tonight officially. Had a sacrifice fly, plating his 86th RBI of the year. That was back in the 3rd. That ball's hit well to left center field. Hamilton going back He runs it down as he runs into the wall, basically.
He sprinted that one down. Boy, that was a nice play.
Another rocket off the bat of Billy Butler, and the Royals are gone in order in the 7th. 3 up, 3 down. Rangers coming up. Moreland, Kinsler, and Anders when we come back for inning number 8. Rangers trailing by 4. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Ace Cash Express, earning your trust since 1968. And by Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo, a no-nonsense burger, fries, and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax. Six to 2 in favor of the Royals. Some shots from the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame, the Monarchs statue. Kansas City's entry into the Negro Leagues back in the 30s and 40s. And a new pitcher on the hill. Kelvin Herrera is on for Kansas City, taking over for Jeremy Guthrie.
He's having a nice season, about a strikeout an inning. Good walk totals, only 15 walks in 70 innings. Solid home run numbers, solid opponent's batting average. Throws hard, he's got a good arm. A lot of innings for a reliever.
And a new first baseman, Eric Hosmer, has come on to take over for Billy Butler at first base. Mitch Moreland leading things off, and Herrera deals a strike at the knees. Mitch tonight, 1 out of 2. He had an RBI double in the 2nd and struck out in the 5th inning.
Herrera's on pace to have somewhere around 70 appearances and maybe 80 innings pitched, which is pretty good workload for a reliever.
Herrera is 22 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. And Mitch fouls off the next pitch, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Herrera came up last year, made his major league debut in September, but just got into 2 ball games. Gave up 3 earned runs in those 2 innings of work in those 2 games. Signed back in 2006 by the Royals. Broken bat grounder out to second. Giovatello up with it. And Moreland retired. That's 1 away and back to the top of the order.
Popped that one up there at 101.
And Mitchell testified to that. That got on him pretty fast. You don't see Moreland get his bat broken very often. The 1 gone. Now Ian Kinsler will step in. Ian's been on twice. His last 2 times up, he's doubled and walked. 1 out of 2 officially tonight. And the strike is poured through there at 98.
You know, the Royals have some pieces that can grow into a really good team. They've got good young position players and more on the way. They've got a strong bullpen, a lot of good arms out there. Holland is developing into a good closer. You can see the arm that Herrera has. Aaron Crow was a #1 draft choice. Tim Collins is a lefty that throws hard. Gets a lot of work in the bullpen. But to be a contender, what they need is they need starting pitching. That's the one thing that keeps them from being a serious contender. You have to think that next year and the year after, as their young position players mature and get better, they'll score more runs. They'll have some kids come up from the minor leagues. They've still got some good young players there, but they're not going to win if they don't get some starting pitching.
And Kinsler, a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Salvador Perez. He is down. That is out number 2, and Elvis Andrus coming up.
And maybe some of their young starters will develop. In the meantime, a guy like Chen has been valuable to him. Guthrie, veteran guys who are solid, you know, number 3, number 4 kind of guys. Really to make a splash, that one veteran guy, that frontline guy, #1 starter, #2 starter, kind of what they need.
First pitch to Elvis. It's a knee-high strike. That was turning and saying something to Lance Barkdale as he kind of meandered around back there outside the box. Home run in the first inning for Elvis. His third of the year. 1 out of 2 officially, and he takes just low. It's 1-1. Well, maybe that little walk behind home plate and saying something to Barksdale had an effect on the call for pitch number 2. Outside and low, 2 balls and a strike. Herrera last year named the organization's pitcher of the year. Pitched at 3 different levels, not counting the major leagues. He eventually pitched a couple of innings there, but he ended up going 7-1 throughout his 2011 minor league season. Ground ball hit sharply, but right at Giovatella. 1 step to his right, and that will do it. The Rangers are gone in order. We finished 7.5 in Kansas City. The Royals maintaining a 6-2 lead over the Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest.
And it just keeps getting better.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He struck him out looking.
See the Rangers and Indians September 11th through the 13th.
Well, a little over 12,000 on hand here tonight, and tomorrow we'll be back with you here, and Chevron showing you tomorrow's starters for Game 3 of this series. Ryan Dempster gets the start. He is 9-6 for the year, and Everett Tiefert 1-3 with a 430 earned run average will be on the hill for the Royals. The young left-hander, and on the hill now for the Rangers is Mark Lowe. He becomes the 3rd pitcher used tonight by Ron Washington. You see the numbers on Mark Lowe.
Yeah, Mark hadn't pitched in a while. He got an inning the other day. Good numbers for Mark Lowe.
Facing Salvador Perez to start things off, and he deals a strike in there. It's 0-1. Perez capped off the 3-run 5th inning with an RBI double. That was the last hitter that Matt Harrison faced. Low back to him, and a looper into shallow left center field. Going out Elvis Andrus, and Elvis makes an over-the-shoulder catch. That is out number 1. Now let's look at the Brown Hand Center great hands of the game, and David Murphy getting it done. Jeff Francoeur, just absolute highway robbery by David Murphy. About as stretched out on a dive as you can possibly be, and Murphy picking that right off the sod. Francoeur, who is 1 for 3 tonight, now will face Mark Lowe.
Roy Oswalt threw the ball well. 2 1/3, struck out 4, didn't walk a batter, gave up 1 hit though. It was a home run to Giovatella, dead center field. Good command, good fastball, threw a lot of strikes. Looked sharp for not having pitched in a while.
2-0 pitch to Francoeur, and that is a strike. He did. He had great command of fastball, and he threw a lot of fastballs, which probably led to the home run, but Giovatella got a fastball that stayed in the middle of the plate, down a little bit.
Of all the guys he faced, if I'm Roy Oswalt, I would have been less afraid to throw Giovatella that fastball than the rest of the hitters. I think he surprised everybody with that ball.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Royals, but we haven't seen that much of it. 30 pitches, 24 strikes for Roy.
2-2 the count to Francoeur. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Lowe's next pitch. Just outside. The count has gone full. Well, Matt Harrison worked the first 4 2/3. He's on the hook right now unless the Rangers able to come back and at least tie this up in the 9th inning. Harrison 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Payoff pitch on the way. Base hit to right field. Francoeur, that patented stroke of his going the other way very nicely. His second hit of the night. Well, he had been mired in a pretty good slump for the last 40 at-bats or so, and he has a pair of hits tonight. Mike Moustakas now will come to the plate. Moustakas doubled his first time up. Since then, he has popped out and struck out. The off-speed pitch from Lowe, and that nibbles on the outside corner for strike one. Well, looking out at that scoreboard, Minnesota now leading the White Sox 17-4 in the fifth inning.
That's in Chicago, too.
Yeah. You think there might be some upset people there?
Wouldn't mind hearing the last inning from Hawk.
Swung on and hit right up the chute. Towering pop-up that Mitch Moreland is there for, and makes the grab for out number 2.
The Tigers swept the White Sox, and then they've lost at home the first 2 games of the Cleveland series. Lost today. Masterson beat them 3-2.
Baltimore shut out Toronto. Second straight night, isn't it? And they shut them out last night too. 12-0 tonight. Here's Tony Abreu. Switch hitter.
4-0 last night.
4-0 last night.
Yeah, Joe Sanders had a perfect game for a while in that game last night. Zach Britton pitched tonight. He's making strong late season push. He's throwing the ball great right now. 2 guys that weren't in the rotation for most of the year.
Abreu, the switch hitter, turns around to bat from the left side against the right-hander Lowe. First pitch to him, and that's just a little bit downstairs for ball 1. We'll take a look at the Eastern Division standings, and that is a dead heat now between the Orioles and the Yankees.
And one thing good about that, if you're Tampa Bay, you're going to play the Yankees again, you're going to play the Orioles again, so you in some ways control your own destiny late in the season. The Rangers are going to play Oakland 7 out of the last 10 games of the season.
That's right. That's right. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 now to Abreu. Tampa Bay 1 back. Baltimore, depending on how Oakland does tonight, would. Now Mark Lowe on a balk will send Frank Coor down to second base.
Lance Barksdale yelled loud enough for everyone in the stadium to hear the balk call.
Let the ball!
You can't fake a throw to first.
Not when your foot is on the rubber.
Didn't come off the rubber.
Yeah, you have. If you're going to fake it, you've got to step off the rubber first, and then make your move. Softly hit up the middle. Kinsler will backhand it and save a run from scoring. Francoeur has to stop at third, and an infield single for Tony Abreu. That puts runners at the corners with 2 outs now. And Johnny Giovatella coming up, and that's where that balk really hurts, because Kinsler probably would have had an opportunity to backhand that and make a flip to second for a force had the balk not occurred. But that shoulda, woulda, coulda doesn't help too much.
No, and as long as he can get Giovatella right here, it won't lead to any damage being done.
Giovatella, that home run to straightaway center last at bat off of Roy Oswalt. Other than that, a fly ball and a strikeout this evening. Francoeur at third, Abreu at first. Royals now with 11 base hits tonight. Low set. Abreu a pretty good lead at first base. The pitch, good breaking ball, and that finds the inside part of the plate. Ron Washington, his first base coach, Gary Pettis, looking things over, trying to figure out a way that the Rangers can get back into this ball game in the 9th inning. Slow topper to third. Beltre on the run. Guns down Gio Bottella, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men are left. On to the 9th we go. Hamilton, Beltre, and Cruz coming up. Rangers trailing 6-2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
You know, weight loss programs can be expensive, so to save some money, I just got the popular girls from the local middle school to follow me around.
Ew. Seriously? So gross. Ew. Seriously?
That is so gross.
Ew. Seriously.
Dude, that is so totally gross.
I know.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hey fans, the brand new Batter's Eye Club at Rangers Ballpark overlooks center field and provides you an unparalleled view from the lower level. This modern venue serves as a party suite for over 100 guests, and individual all-inclusive tickets are available for some games and starting at only $100. Visit TexasRangers.com/Batter's Eye for details. Josh Hamilton starting off the top of the 9th inning. Kelvin Herrera misses outside. He gets 1 ball and no strikes. Hamilton, a single in the first inning, has struck out twice. Both the other 2 at-bats were against Jeremy Guthrie. And ball 2 drifts off the outside corner. Hamilton, Beltre, Cruz, and Young, the first 4. Rangers need to get 3 of them on to bring up that tying run here in the 9th inning. Rip and a miss by Hamilton, and it's 2-1. Not much fancy about that, huh?
Oh man, he can get it up there, boy.
Line to left field. That's going to settle in for a base hit. And Josh Hamilton, one of the 3 the Rangers need aboard, is on with a leadoff single, his second hit of the night. And that's the Rangers' first base hit since the 3rd inning. So 1 on, nobody out. Adrian Beltre. As you get a look at the bullpen, Ken Mazzaro and Greg Holland, the closer for the Royals. Beltre, a couple fly balls and a strikeout, and he laces one to right field for a base hit. Francoeur coming up, throwing to third and sliding in safely, really testing the arm of Francoeur, is Josh Hamilton. The Rangers back-to-back singles to open the 9th, have runners at the corners and nobody out with Nelson Cruz coming up.
Well, yesterday's game, the Rangers had a 4-run lead. Kansas City put some men on base in the 8th and 9th inning, made it interesting. The Rangers returning the favor here in the 9th inning in a 4-run game. It is a save situation, and Ned Yost looks like he's going to come for his closer.
So Greg Holland out there is loose, and Ned Yost making a purposeful trip to the mound here in the 9th inning. I would assume he's going to ask for the ball from Kelvin Herrera. Looking out to the bullpen to see if he can get a sign that Holland is ready. And now he's making the motion to the umpire. Gary Cederstrom, the third base umpire, and crew chief will call to the bullpen. So that's going to do it. Rangers, though, putting the tying run in the on-deck circle with a couple of hits. We'll come back and tell you how it all turns out right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.
Rangers threatening in the 9th in Kansas City. Dana Larson here in the Fox Sports studios reminding you the post-game festivities are on the way. Mac is back as he rejoins me to give us his opinions on the storylines of this game. We will bring you Ron Washington's comments and more player reaction from the clubhouse also. Ryan Dempster looks for his 5th quality start since joining the Rangers as he takes the ball tomorrow in Game 3. We will see you shortly for Rangers Live. Back to Buzz and Tom, guys.
All right, Dana, thank you. Greg Holland, the Royals closer on, and he has been pretty hot of late. 10 straight saves for the hard-throwing right-hander. He has Nelly Cruz at the plate, runners at the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, great numbers, especially recently. Like you said, since he became a closer, he's 10 out of 10. Last 17 games, only given up 1 run. 0.49 ERA. Almost 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Hamilton at third, Beltre at first. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled away to the right by Cruz, and the count is even. Hamilton opened the inning by singling the other way to left field, and Beltre did likewise, singling to right field, going the other way against hard-throwing Kelvin Herrera. And that brought in Greg Holland. Cruz, a strikeout, a liner to center, and a fly ball to left tonight. 0 for 3, and Holland back to it. Rip and a miss, and a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Now, Holland is also a guy that's tough to hit a home run against. He's only given up 1 home run in 55 innings. That ball moved sideways. Didn't go down, it just went straight toward Nelly.
You see Holland setting a grip that would be a split-fingered grip. And there he was. Swing and a miss by Nelson Cruz, and that is out number 1. Now, you're talking about the bottom falling out of something. Watch this.
It's a pretty tough combination when you're throwing in the mid-90s and you have an off-speed pitch like that. See why he's having some success as a closer.
Now, 1 gone. The tying run still in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. Michael Young to the plate. Michael is 1 for 3 tonight. Hit the ball to shortstop all 3 times. And an infield single in the 2nd inning. An error by Butler put him on in the 3rd, and he drives one to center field. That ball carrying pretty well. Back is Candy. He's at the warning track and makes the catch. Tagging at 3rd and scoring is Josh Hamilton. And it's now a 6-3 Kansas City lead, but the Rangers now down to their final out after Michael Young's sacrifice fly. A good job by Michael of getting that run home. Beltre staying at first. And it's going to be up to David Murphy to extend this 9th inning. Murphy 0 for 3. Beltre will not be held at first as Holland comes set. Murphy a chopper up the middle, but right there is Diabatelli. He steps on second, and that is the ball game. The Rangers come up with a run on 2 hits, but not quite enough as the Royals win the 2nd game of this 4-game series and even this series at 1 game apiece. 6-3 the final here tonight. Jeremy Guthrie gets the win, his 4th of the year in a Royals uniform. Matt Harrison takes his 9th loss against 15 wins. Well, the Rangers have their modest 2-game winning streak snapped, and they will try to turn things around again tomorrow. 2 hours and 32 minutes in front of just over 12,000 here in Kansas City. We'll come back and wrap things up in a neat and tidy package for you right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. This is Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest. Is brought to you by the Built Ford Tough Truck Event. Enjoy huge savings on America's best-selling truck for 35 years running. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Well, the Rangers go down to defeat tonight. 6-3 the final here in Kansas City. So this series all even at 1 game apiece. And Tom, the Rangers had some chances early, but Jeremy Guthrie pretty well shut them down after that.
Yeah, they got off to a good start. Elvis homered in the 1st inning. They scored in the 2nd, had a great chance to score a run in the 3rd and maybe go up 3-0. Then in the bottom of the 3rd, they gave up a couple of unearned runs, and from that point it just turned in Kansas City's favor. They had a big 3-run 5th inning. Alex Gordon with a big 2-run homer, and after the 2nd and 3rd inning, Jeremy Guthrie settled down. He pitched a strong ball game. 7 innings, 4 hits, and only gave up the 2 runs early.
So it'll be up to the veteran Ryan Dempster to get the Rangers back in the winning column tomorrow. He'll take on the Kansas City Royals and Everett Teaford. Our next telecast tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. Rangers and the Royals continue this 4-game series. Coming up next, Rangers Live with Dana Larson, Mark McLemore, and John Radigan. And now, please sit back and enjoy our final take.